So, good morning. Great to see you again. We're here with Antons, and you wanted to play the beginning of the first suite, right? Of Bach?
Yes.
Great. Great, bravo, wonderful. What's the matter?
I'm just...
The last chord?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting because really, very honestly, I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Just the last chord, I thought,
Yes.
So we're on the same page. Yeah. Maybe.
I think the bow strings. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like to do it nowadays. Yeah.
Okay.
But what's maybe you should have even more contact with, to sustain a bit more so that you don't lose the sounds. Maybe that's what was bothering. Yes, I think you should. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should combine some bow speeds when you arrive to the frog, so that the chord is not being cut, and then as legato, so to say, as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So a bit more bow speed, and then maybe reduce the angle so that you just you just cross the string in a minimal way. Try one last time, maybe from.
Maybe
I think the G should be extremely bright and a lot of light, no? Yeah. I still hear a little bit of... I exaggerate. Maybe try... Maybe you should have, you know, accompany the notes so that it really has this lightness. I mean, this light. Yes, exactly. Okay. I think it's better already, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Otherwise, I mean, I really enjoy this interpretation. It's, you know, it's very personal, but technically I didn't see anything now that would be disturbing or so. I think it's pretty nice. Is there anything, are there issues or something that you are working on or that we could share in this piece? Do you have any problems or is there something that's bothering you? Yeah, it feels...
Yeah.
Feels good, no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, since you have a lot of program, what I would suggest is that we could go on with the... You wanted to play the sarabande, I think, no?
Yes.
Exactly. So, let's work on and then we will get to know each other and then I will be able to see a bit more then. It's also so cold here. Yeah. Sorry, it's just since we don't have so much time, and I'm really sorry to interrupt, but I just want to make sure we cover most of all. So, great, it sounds wonderful. It's interesting because, indeed, in the prelude, I already had sometimes a slight feeling that sometimes you put some sort of impulses or small accents, not always at the right place, you know. And in the prelude it wasn't so disturbing because you really had a clear idea, and I feel it was really nice. Yeah. But now in the sarabande, for me it becomes a little bit of a problem, you know. Okay. I mean, a problem. It's just a tendency, you know, that,
Yeah.
so, for instance, when you play, I hear a bit of that, and then this kind of thing, and then also when you play, this kind of thing.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if you hear it or if you are surprised when I say that. I had to exaggerate now a little bit so that the listeners can hear it, because you do it in a very subtle way. But I think it's so maybe we could think about that. You know, I think here you have this tension, resolution with the chord. So after, I think it should be totally relaxed, and I don't think we need this kind of you know. And I think the figure yam pa pam should tendenziell, also usually it's always flowing, you know, and be careful with that, no? So, and about the chord, also like we were talking in the prelude, what's so important is that your arm should never stop, you know? I can tell that you're a little bit stuck here, and then of course the problems are coming then, you know? So try to start from the string, yes, but put some arm speed right away, and especially with the string crossing, your arm should never get stuck, you know? Try once. Yes, so maybe if you want, you could even start higher so that you have even more space, you know. Yes, yes, exactly. How does that feel?
Yes, good. Feeling
yeah?
good. Yes.
So you can really start from the tip almost, and then you have so much bow that you really don't have to stop your arm or anything. You just enjoy. Great.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's keep going a bit, and we will see those few spots where I heard the accents. Can you try from the beginning?
Yeah.
Yes, so here for instance, I hear, and then I heard a little bit of that. I think usually in a dance you will have one of the beats that's being a bit accentuated, so to say, yeah, where the weight is going to be. So very often in the sarabande it's on the second beat, right? So, or it can be on the first beat, very rarely on the third beat, actually, yeah. And to put a small accentuation on the third beat here is I'm not quite sure about it. So I would do either or to the second beat, and then yes, so that okay. And so this leads me to one other aspect, maybe in terms of tempo. You played in a very contemplative way, which is great. I think I totally enjoy that also, and that's the magic about Bach now, is that there are so many ways to play it. What would be maybe interesting for you is to play it once for yourself when you practice a bit faster, so that you have a clearer ideas where the downbeats are, or the weight to the second beat, and then release, and so that it's a bit more natural, and the speed helps for that. Because the slower you play, the more you will start to accentuate this and this part of the bar without noticing that it exactly, yeah. So if you want, we can try it now already. If you would like, you could start from the beginning and play it a little bit more dancing. Great. Yeah, that's great. There is something about, well, the first... I think there is something about... There is something about this chord you release immediately, which is a bit sad, I think, because there is something, you know, I would really enjoy, so that when you put the weight on the beat, really do it, yeah? So that maybe you can sustain a bit more, so that the sound doesn't disappear too soon, okay? And then the tendency that you have is when you slur, when you have two notes slurred also after that's where you usually do a little bit of that. So maybe, of course, I know that's also the problematic with Bach. We don't have the right manuscript from him, so there are 5 different versions, so you never know. Here in this edition, here it's slurred, but here it's not slurred. I mean, it's suggested, right? So this is always the thing we need to fight with. I mean, to fight it. In the end, we need to do our own decision now how we want to play it. But if you play not slurred, just play it very naturally, so that there is not. And if you play it slurred, I would just actually almost play it in the same bow. I think that's the idea, yeah? More or less, yeah? So don't... Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that, yeah? So try again from the beginning. That was very nice. And
okay, understood.
So that's really a small detail, and I'm sure you also have a clear idea. But because of course one could also say, we could also say that it's an upbeat to the next beat, right? So I really don't want to have a big argumentation about that or so, but I see it's more like second beat, and then. Because somehow I have been told in all my studies that the second beat is heavy and then the third is relaxed. That's why I wouldn't play it. But of course that could make sense as well. Yeah. So you see, we're already in a world now where this is subject to discussion. Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that there is this tendency of yours. So that's, but of course, if you want to do it on purpose afterwards, it's totally okay, right? So just to be aware of that. And sometimes, indeed, I think it's nice when that's what I was saying in the previous lesson also. I think it's nice when you give some different lights or sound to the chords, you know, so that sometimes they have a bit more weight and a bit more, there is something more sustained, so that the resolution is really audible, you know. So that's why I like to sustain the chords most of the time a bit longer, so that when it releases, you really hear it in the sound and you feel it. You know? So that's also an idea you could be working with. Yeah? Okay. If you don't have any other question, I mean,
No.
I would be happy to do some Elgar. Yeah, because as I said, you have a big program. So we could do a bit of Elgar now. I hope, please forgive me if I interrupt also after a little bit, no? Is it okay? Or did you want to play?
No,
it's okay. Good.
Okay.
Bravo, very nice, very nice. It's interesting because in general we don't know each other, of course. I mean, for 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling that you have a very good relationship with the cello.
It's good.
Exactly. That you feel free and I was a bit surprised because at the very beginning, when you played the chorus, that's the only moment so far where I saw you close a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because this should be, of course, the moment where you know, a little bit, no? I mean, of course you can decide how much of this you want or not, but I don't think that you should play it like this, no? And more interesting even is that I could hear it in the sound, of course, right away, no? That the sound was actually not as open as it should be. So let's just try right away with those chords and see how we can free it a little bit more.
Okay.
It's hard to tell now with the technology and the distance how loud it is, but I have the feeling that it could be a little bit more fortissimo. I have the feeling you play a beautiful forte, but I wonder if it couldn't be a little bit. Of course, it's nobilmente, so sort of proud, and this I can hear, which is great, but maybe a little bit more, you know. A little bit more of this, yeah. Let's see. At least from here, if I can hear a difference. And what I wanted to say is also that's much better with the head now. So always try to think that the sound is happening here. Yeah, I have to struggle with that probably even more than you with my head. I had really bad habits when I was younger, and it took me years to try to, you know, get out of this, and I'm still struggling with that sometimes. So it's easy to say, of course, yeah. But when I work on it, I try to think, okay, your sound is being shaped here, and everything else should be just relax. No? Okay, let's try again. I think it's great. I think it's really good. I have the feeling that you lose a little bit of the energy when you break the chord. So that I hear a bit, and then in the end you sustain, which is good. But what I want to hear is, I want to try to keep the chord with the same intensity throughout. So try to, when you break here, try to keep the intensity. So go as close as you can to the bridge and keep the weight. So that, of course, you will have to sustain until the end, but I don't want to hear this kind. I exaggerate, of course, yeah? But you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's already better. It's hard to tell, but especially there is one more thing. Of course, it's nobilmente, but don't forget that there are some caires on the note. Yeah. So I think there is a little bit of you know, something a bit more bright. Yes, exactly. We could even wonder, you know, when it comes back at the very end of the concerto. Yeah, he writes only forte, you know. He writes forte quasi recitativo. So one could wonder if he didn't want it to have it really the first time when it comes extremely like fit and full of power and energy, and in the end a little bit more resignated. Yeah. You know? So that's also something we could consider. So I like it with the caires now, because I think it's still nobilmente. I think it's not, you know, like this, but it has a bit more teeth, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then just one thing also about the I almost hear like ta ta ya ram. So I wouldn't change the rhythm so much. Yeah, in the end it's... So of course you can give it some direction, but sometimes, you know, if you change the rhythm that much, it becomes a little bit, you know,
yes,
a bit exaggerated. Yeah, that's always the question, no? If we do, I mean, in the end, I mean, last time I played it, I did with two bows.
Ah, okay.
So, of course, it's very courageous of you to try in one bow, which is great, but of course, if you have this much for the A flat for the E, remaining, of course, it might be a bit dangerous. So I don't know. Either you have to save way more. I would at least have half of the bow for the E. Yeah. Yes, exactly. which is already much better.
Yeah.
Or you can go for the big soloist easy way. Nowadays it's maybe a bit too easy sometimes, but that's also one possibility. Yeah, but that's great like this.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on. That's great. It was already better. I have the feeling that you need a little bit of time to get into the sound and this mode. I think here again, what's extremely important is that the bow is already free right away, and as soon as you stop, I can hear that you are blocked a little bit here. So I would really. Yeah, try one. Yes, great. Yeah, it's better. I mean, I played with a bit of vibrato. You can also play without, which is great also, but what's so important is that the sound that is always singing here. Exactly, and then be very careful with the two E's. That are really at the right place.
Okay.
It sounds great, really, bravo. I like the beginning much more like it. I think it's really coming well. When you arrive here, here, again you have a Kaile, yeah? I mean, you don't have to do it too much, but I think there is something that shows, okay, it was very, contemplative or resignated, and now comes again this will to fight for it or something.
Yeah.
So let us hear that a little bit more in the sound, and then from here he writes sostenuto. So I think sostenuto fortissimo, I think for Elgar means quite a lot, no? So try to. Here especially, so that's the. If what I hear is a little bit, I hear a small release before the eighth note, right? So try to sustain, especially here, so that it's not. Yeah? Yes. Yeah, and here also. Pretty much always, yeah. Yes, okay, and here you have no excuses anymore, because he writes scale and sforzando.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't play just... No. Yeah? Yes.
Okay.
Exactly, and then... Yeah, don't let it go. Yeah, let's just do it one last time for the intonation, so that concentrate here, but don't start to block here, because otherwise your intonation will suffer from that. So try to be free here. And here, of course, you work a lot, but here you try to be always, I don't know if it's also so cold at your place. I mean, for me, it's really hard right now also. That doesn't help. But in general, that's what you should think about. Here is the focus, and here try to relax. Yeah? Let's try one more time from... Good. So now the intonation is better, but
Not
here
good,
is less
better.
again. Yeah. So let's keep working on that. I think it's worth it, really, to really. It's a strange feeling, because here there is so much energy and intensity, and here, of course, also because the vibrato is maybe a little bit faster. But at the same time, make sure that as soon as you have played the note, that you just hear that it's relaxed.
Okay.
You know? Yes! Yes! Yeah, it's much better. This is A.
Okay.
Yeah, not too high. Not too high, yeah? In general, it's a bit too high. That's good. I'm being very annoying right now, but I think it's also part of what we need to do, you know, as musicians sometimes, to really get stick on one bar.
Yeah.
And it's coming, yeah. I can really hear. It's just that you need to combine both. And here, for instance, there is something about sustaining, but of course release a little bit during the shift, and then the full energy again. So always take the time you need. So you sustain here as much as you can, and then here you try to release a bit when you move.
Yeah.
And then when you're sure that you got there, you just full power again, yeah? But take the time for that. So that... And here again, also, okay? So you need time here, and what you need most of all is enough bow, so that you have the feeling, oh, I have so much time, yeah? So always make sure, even if it's quarter, eighth note, actually it doesn't mean quarter, eighth note. I think it means more quarter and then eighth notes. Yeah, so I would do half and half, and not 2/3 and 1/3 or so. Yeah, so that when you play, you have, you know, I start from the middle, and then I have so much time to enjoy it. Yeah. Yes. Great. Perfect. So maybe that was the key in your mind. Maybe think like this now again from ti-ra-ra and try to do half always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so rock and roll, you know. But it was great, yeah? I mean, I can really feel the difference now. Yeah?
Me too.
This is a real Elgar fortissimo sostenuto.
Yeah.
Of course, here again, it's a question of taste. Maybe some want to play it a bit more, you know, zurückhalten, because we have heard so much of bad taste also in that concerto. So this is something I don't want to interfere with or so, but at least now I could really hear a real sostenuto fortissimo. Yeah? So that's really great. And did I have some one last thing to say? No, I think we can just go on then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just ask you something? Sorry? Can you play the very first time that the theme is coming? Just now?
Yeah, this part will be a little bit more.
You see my point. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I think it sounds too similar to the very first one. Yeah? That's good. The sound is better now. I think we can clearly hear the forte, the piano fortissimo, and now the mezzo forte. Yeah, so it's still a bit under shock, you know. It's not totally out of nowhere. It's like you're still, you know, so much happens before, and there is something about the vibrato that's a little bit small, and then here also when you stopped being free, then I hear that also, and the intonation is sometimes a little bit, you know, like this. Yeah. So try to, especially the G. Usually it's a little bit high. So if your intonation is a little bit on the higher side, then your sounds a bit like this, because the harmonies are not coming out freely. Okay. So make sure maybe a little bit lower, so that, and then try to be really relaxed. And this is also tricky. This E, yeah. You see? Yes, and you know what I would suggest to you is to practice it. That's always a good exercise I do when I'm not quite feeling comfortable with it. I would just repeat the notes. Yeah, do you do that sometimes, or
no?
Okay. Yeah, no, but I would really do the whole phrase like this, yeah? So that you have time to And very important also, you do it with the vibrato, with the sound, with the energy that you will
like
have.
It is.
Exactly, yeah. So that it's not just an exercise. It's playing with all the musical elements that you want to have for it, but with repeated notes, so that you have a bit more time to place everything the way you want it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's try just one. It's a great exercise because you can see so many things. There are two little problems. First of all, as I said, just before the bow change, I can tell that your arm stops a little bit moving, and this we saw in Bach, right? That's why I didn't say too much in Bach because it was good, you know. But here I can tell this is also related to the problems you had with the chord. Try to always make sure that you have enough bow to keep the speed going when you do the change. Okay, that's one thing. And then the other thing is the vibrato. Of course, it can be a matter of taste. You don't have to vibrate every note, and so I'm not for that at all. But in this particular exercise, I think it's good to work on the continuity of the vibrato. And what happens in your case is that you always stop before the next note. And I have the feeling that the fact that you stop vibrating blocks a little bit the arm, plus here, and that's why this happens a little bit, and then the sound doesn't continue freely. So try to vibrate completely freely. Yeah? Yes. Exactly. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah? So you will see, usually when you do that a few days, it really helps then. Because it just gives you a bit more time to think about all those things. And then when you hear an intonation problem, you have the time also, you can always go back and again and again. For instance, it was a bit too teeth low. So if you hear it's not quite on tune, just go back until it feels really right and good. Yes. And just one last technical little thing is I would really leave the second finger after, because if it stays on the string, you have this tension here, you know, and I can hear that in the sound. So as soon as you play the third, I would leave the second free so that it's exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then try to find a way. Can you just play that note? It still sounds not quite free to me. Yes. Yeah, I think it's a little bit on the low side. Plus this little technical, you know, those are always at your level, you know, because you're at a very high level already, of course. Most of the time it's very small little elements that make the difference in the end, you know. So that's why I wanted to point out a few little things, and if you improve them parallel, you know, then in the end you might have a little bit more, you know, you might reach the little things that you still want to improve, you know. Okay, that's great. Can we do from... You see here also, interesting, there is a diminuendo and no accent. It's interesting because that's also a little bit what I heard in Bach, you know. You have a tendency sometimes to do something on a note that's not really necessary, you know.
Okay.
I can still hear the accent, but I don't know. Couldn't you hear it? I hear that a bit. Just two little things. Here again, I hear that. I think it's
my problem. Yeah.
And then, so I think also in Bach that it must not have been always on purpose. Because I can tell here that it's probably not exactly what you want. Yeah. Try to play that note light. Yeah, so that. And then. Yes, exactly. And here also when you play, just go to the fingerboard. You know, there is this angle here I was talking about in the previous lesson. Maybe you have heard, I don't know, but you can do this, you know, so that everything is lighter. Because of course you are here at the front, so and then it sounds too heavy. So try to, okay, that's one thing. And then the other thing, oh, sorry. Here also there is something, well, we have talked about the vibrato. It sounds a little bit closed. Try to, can you try to have it even a bit more free? That was much better already. So you see, what I would do, because I obviously really need to practice that place, what I would do is again the same exercise. So that I really have to...
It's good. It's good playing.
Yeah? So I can really correct and leave the hand the time that it needs, you know, to memorize and then to feel good on every note, you know, so that in the end you will feel more free. Because right now it's a little bit stuck, tense, yeah? Yes, and one last thing, when you do the exercise, try to sustain the sound. So that it's never, no? Try, because that's also a little thing that you can improve this with the speed. So when you do the exercise, always with this breath from the bow, so that it's never cut. So just repeat important when you do the exercise, you notice, okay, I played it twice too low, then it should come from your brain. The brain tells your finger, okay, it's always too low, it should be higher, yeah? And then you don't have to repeat so often, right? But I think for specific spots where you don't feel quite well, I would really advise you to do that exercise. And then you can practice this to be here free and here to be totally free also, because both belong together. The more you're free here, the better you will feel here. It's all connected, you know? So when you do the exercise, practice both bow and this. Yeah. Okay?
Definitely, yeah.
Great, wonderful. I think we should stop for now also, but I hope I could help you a little bit, and it was a big pleasure.
You are. Yes, thank you for that, and I will.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best. I hope to see you once for real if we're allowed to come to your wonderful country soon in the summer, hopefully. Yeah. Riga is always one of my favorite spots. I just can't wait to be back, hopefully soon.
Okay.
And hope to see you there then. Yeah?
See you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Take care. All the best. Bye bye.